Hello there, everyone. How you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we'll be going through r/maliciouscompliance, where people do what they're told, but not always in the spirit of the request. Actually, quite often, quite the opposite. If you enjoy, please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get started. Forget everything about this place? A malicious compliance over a decade in the making. TLDR, CEO of old company, cheaped out on client solutions and employee compensation, tells me to forget everything when I leave. Over 10 years later, instructs me to help him with the same clients. But oh no! I forgot everything since then. Whatever shall he do? Many years ago, I worked for a little company. CEO was a miser of the first order. We needed image hosting for a large client account, and the CEO was unwilling to pay for maybe 2 to 3K in annual image hosting fees at the time, even though the company made millions off the deal. Me, being an enterprising individual, I figured out a way to host the images on Flickr. I saved login information in a physical notebook and kept informing them that this is a house of cards and we really need to switch to a professional service. Several months later, I was promoted and asked for a raise to go for with my promotion. CEO said no. All promotions and raises required CEO sign off. I tried negotiating, but CEO said no. Meant to leave if I didn't like it. So I left. And the CEO told me to forget everything related to the job here, and he'd sue me if I did anything with the client accounts afterwards. Examples being sabotage or steal clients. I told him I'm leaving all my knowledge behind in the notebook in my final email to him. My manager and BCC'd my personal email. In this email, a full inventory of what I left behind invoices, contracts, etc., including this entry. Personal notebook, account notes, and reference material, including image hosting logins for insert name, accounts, keep for reference. Recently, I received a professional networking site message from the CEO telling me to help them with my old accounts or he'll sue me. Apparently, Flickr changed their terms of service and the images were deleted. In over 10 years, 10 whole years, nobody updated any documentations or the image hosting. Nobody bothered checking the email account either that was used to log into the Flickr account. I told him that I cannot help. Per his request, I forgot everything I knew about his company, and anything I knew was in that notebook I left him over 10 years ago. Seriously though, I don't remember what I had for breakfast. Technical details from that long ago? I just laugh. Natural occurring colors. In the early 2000s, I worked at a Canadian casino. The place had so many ridiculous rules, including some very particular rules about makeup. The makeup rules were as follows: no fake eyelashes, no fake fingernails or fingernail extensions, no makeup that is not a quote unquote natural color. The natural color one confused me. What is deemed natural? Who decides what is and isn't natural? I asked my manager for clarification, but she couldn't give me any. Just keep it natural. Use naturally occurring colors, and you'll be fine. This did not sit well with me. Cue malicious compliance. My aunt has her master's in environmental science. I went to her house one evening and picked her brain about naturally occurring colors. She informed me that, scientifically, naturally occurring colors are colors that can be found directly in nature. She even showed me a textbook that directly spoke about naturally occurring colors. I borrowed the textbook and highlighted the paragraphs that specified this. Keep in mind, this was well before you could just Google something. The only way to back up the claim was to carry that 750-page, oh my god, textbook to work with me. Oh my god, that's a big freaking textbook. What the heck? My next shift, I went all out. Green eyeliner, eggplant colored eyeshadow, yellow nail polish on one hand, and mango colored on the other hand. I hit the floor to work, and within the first few minutes I get hauled into my manager's office. "OP, what do you think you're doing? You cannot wear those colors. You know our policy states naturally occurring colors only when it comes to makeup. Head to the staff bathroom immediately and remove it." Wordlessly, I headed to the staff bathroom, but instead of taking the makeup off, I went to my locker, grabbed the textbook, and marched back to my manager's office. "Excuse me, manager. I am wearing naturally occurring colors. Here, look at this textbook that specifically states what naturally occurring colors are, by definition." I watched her face change as she read the book. First, she looked angry, then worried, and then finally resigned herself to what was happening. "OP, do you really need to be that type of person?" "Me, the type of person who follows the rules? I thought that's what you wanted me to do." She asked me to head back up to the floor. For the remaining time I was employed there, I wore whatever color makeup I wanted, and so did almost all of my coworkers. They tried coming up with new rules, but could never get their wording right. Screw stupid rules, malicious compliance for the win. Nice. "Why is there pizza sauce smeared all over the walls?" the bosses wondered to themselves. 20 years back, I worked on a tugboat sailing for the Great Lakes. This was a really cruddy company, and they'd be more or less exhausted, the very valuable mariner living on the Great Lakes, so nobody on the lakes would even apply to work there anymore. As a result, I, Tennessee Kentucky River Trash, got the job. From the get-go, it was an uphill battle. My hard work ethic and easygoing nature were overshadowed by my southern accent and inexperience with big cities. Hick was one of the nicer terms thrown my way in those 6 months. But the money was amazing, and I learned to eat plenty of crud, as I really wanted the job. After about 4 to 5 months, I began to get a bigger picture of the dynamic, and was vastly more confident in my abilities. At this point, I was unconsciously doing most, if not all, of the deckhand's work on board. One way I got screwed was the galley, kitchen, cleanup. One of the deckhands got galley cleanup in the morning. One got it at night. Naturally, as the FNG, frickin' new guy, I always seemed to get stuck with the nighttime galley cleanup. AM cleanup was little more than tossing dishes in the washer and making coffee. Nighttime cleanup was the culmination of an entire day's worth of build-up. Easily 45 to 60 minutes worth of work. Enter the annual shipyard period. This is where our tale begins. We pulled into Sturgeon Bay. Population about 8,900, around dusk, as we had a 3-week shipyard period scheduled. Now, this company was death on drinking, instant firing. Of course, because we all had no loading or unloading the next day, we all went out to some local bar that night. My years of coal barge experience taught me to grab a few drinks, then get back to the boat. We got a job in a few hours. So after a half dozen buds, I walked back to the boat to get some sleep. Since I was a nice guy, always trying to help out my crew no matter what they do to me, I decided to cook them a couple pizzas. I tossed a couple tombstones in the oven, set cook, smoked a bud or two, then pulled them out. I placed them on the counter with the note: "Pizza's on the stove. Clean up your mess. Put dishes in the washer when you're done." Maybe it was the demanding tone of my orders, but my note 100% set them off. I woke to literally pizza smeared across every cabinet and a rough "screw you" in pizza front of the whiteboard. I woke up at 0600 to this mess. Since it was morning cleanup, I figured it was not my responsibility. I'd been getting up at 0600, 1 hour before the crew, and making coffee for 2 months. I suspect they were used to it. This time, the bigwigs from the office were in the town shipyard, and had let the captain know they would be aboard in the AM. And so they were. I was in the galley, sipping my coffee, when 3 of the bigwigs came down the stairs. I politely asked if anyone wanted coffee. They said yes, former sailors, and sat in the galley, staring at the Pizza Picasso artwork decorating the bulkhead walls, waiting for the captain, apparently. After 10 to 15 minutes, the captain came down. He had been drinking all night vibe to him, and was promptly horrified at the state of the galley. Of course, he immediately tried to show off by raging against me and the state of the galley. I reminded him I was the night cleanup, not the AM cleanup. The more he tried to pin this on me, the worse it looked. Finally, it culminated in him trying to hammer me. "I know you have night cleanup, but couldn't you have at least wiped down the cabinets?" I'd had an hour to practice my answer. "When we left Toledo last week, and I asked for your help cleaning the galley, after the mess the longshoremen left, you told me I volunteered for night cleanup, so it's my job. Period. Well, now it's AM cleanup, and insert other deckhand has cleanup." He doubled down and ordered me to clean the galley to save face. But he was just digging a deeper hole. Best of all, my shipmates couldn't resist bragging about the stupid drunk shit they'd done that night. I called the company's 1-800 number, used a variety of accent, and complained about what they'd done in Sturgeon Bay. Some of the complaints I made lifted straight from the stories from that night. Threw their empties at the bar's silly bass-mouth trophy. Tried to take down 2 of the bar's 5 mounted tiered heads. Walked behind the bar to grab a bottle of Jägermeister to pour free shots for everyone. After getting kicked out, they weren't, kicking the side of a pickup in a park in front. Putting empties in several mailboxes between the bar and the shipyard, and knocking over a base-shaped mailbox off its mount. All of which they bragged about loudly. Long story short, 1 officer and a deckhand got fired. The captain had Sturgeon Bay hanging over his head as long as I worked there. 7 whole years. And the office has never screwed with me. Not once. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, it helps the channel a lot. See you next time.